What's up, tribe? This gonna be a quick drop on Big Brother. So let's talk a little bit about what happened Sunday. It's real quick. Give you a little strategy, tell you about some powers that were given out, and talk a little bit about who got nominated. So we know that Scotty is the new head of household, right? But also, Scotty is the one that flipped on Swaggy because Swaggy had the votes until it came down to Scotty. Now, Scotty decided to flip on Swaggy. He said it was for strategy because then he would have the whole house in an uproar trying to figure out who voted for who and who flipped who and who flipped what. But it really wasn't hard for them to figure out. And actually, Haley has already figured out that Scotty was the one because it would have been her or Scotty. And she said she didn't want the house thinking it was her, so she's making it very clear that it was not her that voted for Swaggy to go. And so now we see where. And shout out to Kelly Love for watching Big Brother. I didn't know you were a Big Brother fan, Kelly. He dropped a comment on my video about Swaggy. Shout out to you, boo. You know I can't sing like you sing, but okay. Haley told Rockstar that it's funny because Rockstar is becoming everybody's confidant. Rockstar be getting all the information, but she good about not saying anything. She's not a run and tell it. Like you tell her something, she observes it, she thinks about it, but she don't tell it. So it's gonna be very interesting. Let me see. I'm in a parking lot. Let me see if somebody can come say something to me. Anyway. So then we got this big bromance going on with Brad and Winston. They got this big bromance thing happening. And, you know, Big Brother, they made a big montage showing them hanging out or whatever. And what Brad said is that it's all about strategy. That this is a part of their strategy. That, you know, if they basically make a fool of themselves and act real goofy, that people won't think they're really as intelligent as they are. And they really are gaming. You know, they're really gaming. But what it did, the opposite, it actually put a target on their back because Scotty said that's what he wanted to put up. But he had to find a reason. He had to come up with an excuse. So the thing with Scotty was he wants to avenge, what was it, James? Who was the guy that got the cop? He wants to avenge him being evicted. And what was the other thing he wanted to do? And he wants to break them up. My fault. Anyway, so that's his big thing. Is he's going through the house. He's asking questions. He's trying to figure out who voted, because remember that was a flip vote as well, and it was Caitlyn that flipped the vote. And he caught Winston in a lie. Winston lied and said that he did vote for, I think his name was James. But then he told Sam that he didn't vote for James. And it got back, Scotty, through his interrogation, he found the lie. And then, Winston tried to go up there and tried to, do a little mind control on him and try to say, yeah, man, I lied to Sam because I didn't want her to be mad at me, but I really did vote for James to stay. I didn't vote her. I voted for Sam to be evicted. But of course, Scotty doesn't believe it. Then Brad goes up there, and Brad is smooth. You know what I'm saying? Brad, he went up there like he was arguing the case before the Supreme Court. And by the time it was over with, Scotty was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to believe. He just did a really good job of convincing me. And oh my goodness, I don't know what to do. So I thought Scotty was going to come up off his plan and go in another direction. But he didn't. We'll get to that in a quick second. The other thing that really happened on this episode was, this was the last week of the BB App Store. I don't know if I'm not crazy about. I like the BB App Store. I do like the BB App Store because it gave people some powers, but the powers is giving people. It's gonna be interesting how it plays into the game because nobody has used the power yet. Sam has one more eviction to use the power, or it's gonna automatically be used for her. Tyler's power is good for like almost the whole damn show. His is good for like 3 months or something like that, and they're in the house for like 4 months. So it's good almost until like damn near the end of the show. And remember, his power is that he can pull himself off. So basically, Tyler almost has a guaranteed spot. The only thing is, though, he can't wait until he's actually nominated. He has to know he's going to be nominated. So that's kind of the catch there, but it's good for a really long time. And then this week, the person who got the power was Bailey. Which was interesting. I was surprised that Bailey was the one that was trending, but Bailey got the power. I guess everybody felt sorry for her after Swaggy got voted out. But Bailey got the power, and her power is that it's called identity theft, and she can actually go in and switch one of the head of household's nominations. So again, if she goes up, or somebody that she doesn't want up on the block goes up, she can go in and sort of hijack their nominations. And hers is good for 3 months. Hers is good for the first half of the show. So for the first 8 evictions, and we've already had 2. We've already had 2 evictions. So hers is good for the next 4 evictions. So these powers are lasting a pretty long time. The person who got the least trending was Haley, which I was surprised that Haley was the least trending. I thought because of what happened last week with the conversation that she had right at the end, right before the eviction, that she would have sort of been trending a little bit. But she has to read Hamlet. Every time the cue is given, she has to stand up and start reciting the book Hamlet. And she has to do it until she's finished reciting the whole book. That's going to be interesting. I'm sure the montage of them showing her reading is going to be really funny. The nominations. So we get to the nominations, and Scotty did what he said he was going to do. He nominated Winston and Brad. And he basically said point blank, yeah, I'm trying to break up the bromance. Like, I ain't going to give y'all a whole bunch of excuses. That's what I'm trying to do. So we'll see who plays. I have a feeling that one of them is going to win the power veto. They're both really athletic. I mean, that doesn't mean it's going to be an athletic competition, but they're both pretty athletic. I think one of them might win the power veto, so it'll be interesting to see if any powers are used or how that's going to play out this week. Remember, and the other thing I want to say is, remember I told y'all last week that Tyler sort of had this little mind control thing going on. He tried it on Scotty, and it didn't work. So go ahead, Scotty, for keeping your mind and not letting yourself be manipulated. But we'll see. Because because the other alliance knows that he's the one that flipped on Swaggy, he sort of doesn't have an alliance anymore. So after he's no longer in power, it'll be interesting to see what happens to him. I feel like he's going to end up being on the block really soon. Like, really, really soon. All right, you guys. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in them comments. We have a power of veto coming up, and we will see what happens with that. Peace.